Hi everyone. Can you see our screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
Those of
Cool.
us on phones.
If you're on phone, so I sent everyone an email like an hour or two ago that said basically like these are the documents that we'll be using. So if you could open up the program guide, it says a guide to Hobie, and then just follow along with us. You'll kind of know where we're at because we'll be talking about it.
I got it. Thanks.
Great.
Awesome. So I guess we'll start now. I'm Ross. I'm the one that's been emailing you over and over and over and over. I haven't had a chance to speak with any of you, I don't think, only maybe one of you. And so it's nice to finally hear your voices if I've heard it or see your face if I can see it. Yeah.
And I'm Courtney. I'm the other one that's been emailing you. So the two of us will be our main or your main points of contact during the seminar. We'll talk a little bit more, well, two of your main points of contact during the seminar. We'll talk a little bit more about who to go to in certain situations, what your role will be tonight. And then we'll start to go over a few really important things related to safety for you and for ambassadors. We'll also take a few minutes to go through some quick overview, like big picture highlights about the program and what to expect. And then we'll wrap up with a few logistics about arrival and packing, and we'll save some time for questions at the end. Sound good?
Sounds good with me.
All right. And so also at this time, this is what people will be watching this recording, so don't really pay attention to this. But continue watching this video, and at one point within the video, we are going to say a code word. And when you hear that code word, put it directly in a text to me and send it to me so that I know that you've watched this video, because all of this training is required that you hear it. And we'll go over it again on Thursday, but in much less detail. So absolutely pay attention. And so yeah, so now we will actually start. We wanted to start with just kind of to let you know where we're at as a seminar and to let you know things have changed quite a bit since last year. So basically our team of directors, so our Leadership Seminar Chair, Courtney, me, the Director of Staff, our Director of Fundraising, Brett, our Director of Programs, Alyssa, our Assistant Director of Programs, Jordan, our recruitment team, we're all new this year, except for Alyssa. She's the only returning member of our team. And so this has been a turnover year, and it's a year of change, and it's a year of moving forward and trying out new things. And so we wanted to just kind of bring that up right at the beginning. You want to talk about more about that, Courtney?
The main reason that we bring this up is because we feel that it's important for you to understand that the experience that you're about to have and to give to our students is different than the experience that you will have had last year. So we say this because we want you to go into the experience with an open mind, but we also want you to know that all of us, all the people that Ross listed off, will be present with open minds as well. So if there will be several opportunities, and we'll talk about these on Thursday, for you to give feedback throughout the seminar, several different avenues depending on the urgency of the situation. And we encourage you to use them. We promise that we will have an open mind throughout that review process, but we ask that with everything that we do with you, with the ambassadors in our new space, you approach us with patience and with an open mind, and just embrace the experience that we're about to have, because we have, like he said, we have made some changes. We believe that they are changes that will do wonderful, amazing things for you and for our students, and we're really excited for you to see them.
And so if, for those of you who are on your phone or like, yeah, they're on your phone and can't see our screen, if you're open to the Guide to Hobie, we're going to go first to the page that talks about the staff. So it's the page with the title. I may have to download this. Actually, yeah, it's Hobby 101, and it says staff groups. And so if you're not there quite yet, I will just start talking and you'll get there. So basically, in the past, we have had only 2 groups of staff. And so there have been facilitators and junior staff. And that system, it worked as we were a little bit smaller and we didn't need as much help with our operations tasks. And so now we have adopted a new system, which kind of, we hope, and we've seen it in other sites, that it really does help for everyone. And so we've been referring to you as Team Alumni. That's why I've been saying TA or any of those types of things. And so basically, as you can read, you are in a very special role because you are in 2 teams. You're both an operations staff and you're also an ambassador staff support, which means you're basically with the group. And so throughout different times, during certain activities, you will be pulled away to go and help set up the task or help run the task, like the activity or anything like that. And as a part of that, you will really be serving as a very crucial backbone of our program. It may be hard because as an ambassador, you had you never once saw all of the operations that occur behind the scenes, but actually that is the heart of the program, and everything that the ambassadors see and do cannot happen without operations. So that's why we're really excited to have all of you helping us out there. And so as a part of this, then there's also the junior facilitators, who they are the ones who are returning. And then there's the facilitators, and you've seen those because you all had one when you were an ambassador. And so, Courtney, do you have anything more to add to this?
We will elaborate more on what being a team alumni means in the coming days. But basically, you will know, most of you received an email from me late last week asking you to choose a particular task in a specialization that you'll focus on. So that will be the one thing that you alone will be focused on. And those have been finalized. We'll send those assignments back out to you shortly. But we will also attach you to things such as set up for some program activities, which Alyssa will talk about later this afternoon or this evening. Some of the program activities that we'll be doing are quite intensive in terms of the amount of supplies and things that we need. So we'll need people to be helping to prep those spaces. You'll also be helping with other things. So a lot of setup, tear down of spaces, such as for activities and for the service projects. Some organization of things such as prep for the thank you note writing. So we'll give you, in all cases, for your task that's individual to you and for the task that all of you will be doing, we will give you a specific spreadsheet that will explain, like, these are the times when you need to be in this place, and this is what everyone else will be doing, but this is what you'll be doing. And this is your point person that will help you make sure that you get acclimated.
So that's kind of the explanation of staff structure, but one point I do want to add really quick is that a major thing when you're a first-time junior staff member is the fact that it's your first time back at seminar, and when you're an ambassador, you're so into the experience, and the reason you all came back is because of your ambassador experience. It's the reason we came back when we came back. It's the reason we come back every single year. And one thing we want to keep in mind when you are a first-year member is that it is your job to help give that exact same experience to the ambassadors and not to be reliving our own experiences. And so it's a little bit difficult to do that, but to always kind of keep that in the back of your mind is maybe the best piece of advice I was ever told, and I'd like to share that with you as well.
We hope, too, that by being more involved in the operations aspect of the work, that will help you kind of recenter yourself so that you're not thinking, and also because we're in a different space, we're trying out some different things that you won't have seen. It will hopefully help you to think about things in a completely different way, and not compare them to what you experienced. And what I would encourage you to do is just to, by all means, please feel free to discuss whether or not you think something is effective with us, with each other, but please minimize any sort of comparison in front of the students, just because to be honest, it doesn't reflect so nicely on you and on us when they hear that. So just always keep that in the back of your mind. Please feel free to have those sorts of conversations. Just be mindful of who's around when you do it.
Yeah, and so we can, if you have any questions on that, we have the question and answer portion at the end of this call. But for the sake of time, we'd like to move on to the really huge part of this call, which is risk management. And so really pay attention at this point, because legally you need to know all of this inside and out as a staff member for the safety of you and the safety of your ambassadors.
The first thing that I'm going to talk about is the buddy system. And we have, this is going to take me a minute, because within this group we have a few people. Most of you are under 18, but not all of you. So that means I'm going to work through the first, or the second, third, and fourth groupings. We will spend a good amount of time on this on Thursday as well, because I know that when you're in situations, it's very much like, okay, they said this, but what do I do in this scenario? So we will definitely equip you well and talk through everything. But for this point in time, just to like start getting your mind wrapped around what is expected of you, for the ambassadors, anytime that they go anywhere when we are all in the same building, they need to have, so if we're all in the auditorium and they ask to go to the bathroom, obviously you want to make sure that the facilitator knows that they're leaving, but because we're all in the building, we have coverage. They can go with just a buddy. Their buddy needs to be of the same gender. An ambassador can never be alone. And all of the ambassadors have been placed into rooming assignments with other people of the same gender. In an instance when they say, can I go get something out of my room? The answer is typically, the first question is, what is it? But the answer is typically no, unless it's like a medication, which we'll get to in a minute. We'll talk through how to work through those sorts of scenarios in a bit. Junior staff that are under 18, you fall in the same sort of risk management bucket as those ambassadors. You must always have a buddy of the same gender expression. You can never be alone. And again, you should be rooming with, or you are rooming with, another junior staff member who's under 18 of the same gender. So this is why when we assigned you specializations, you will have noticed in the spreadsheet that we colored some of the specializations, because those are the most natural pairs for you. So that's kind of your like default buddy that you're going to be hanging out with. Junior staff that are between 18 and 21, I know there's at least one of you that will be hearing this. You are old enough to be responsible for yourself, but you cannot be responsible for supervising anyone else. So you must also have a buddy of the same gender, ideally, particularly if you go into another space. And you would be rooming with someone who is between 18 and 21. So the people who are under this age range, if they needed something in a building that we were not in, we would ask someone over 21 to go with them. But in this age category, if you need something, you would be okay to go on your own. And of course, the adults that are over 21, they do not need a buddy system. They can be left unattended, and they are rooming with people who are over 21. The other thing that, just in case it comes up, no adults, whether you're any level of staff, you can't be alone with a student. 2 adults over 21 need to be present with the student at all times. So if somebody does need to go back to their room and get something, it's 2 adults, same gender expression, and no male or female adult is permitted to enter someone's room. So the facilitators that are doing the bed checks, they stand at the threshold of the room. They can't enter. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is mandatory reporting. And this is something that it's important for everyone to hear. It's slightly less important for you because there will be times when you will not be with your group and you are not obviously the final decision maker on the level of criticality of the things that are said, but you need to know that this is how this works. There are technically 3 situations that mandate saying something, and those 3 situations are harm to self, suspicion of harm to self, suspicion of harm to others, or suspicion that the person has recently been harmed by someone else. The reason that we do this is because we are an educational organization. We want to make sure that they're happy, that they're healthy. So if they say something that raises concern, we are actually legally obligated to say something and to file a report. We're legally obligated to make sure that that student is okay if they say something that causes concern. So if you, again, because of buddy system, you won't ever be alone, but because you're closest in age to those students, you might hear something that your facilitator or your junior facilitator doesn't hear. So if you have a suspicion that something is off, the first thing that I would do if I was you is say something to the facilitator and say, so-and-so just said this to me. Is this a concern to you? How do you feel about this? If the facilitator says, yeah, I don't really feel that great about that, then the next person that you would go to is Ross or me. And the last there are 2 other things that I want to say about this. Yes, you can have confidential conversations with these students. They can tell you things in confidence. They tell you things that oftentimes they've never told anyone else. You should feel very special that they choose to tell you that, but nothing that they tell you is private or privileged in any way. If they say something that raises the hair on the back of your neck, you need to say something to somebody else. So if you have suspicion, go to your facilitator If you both have suspicion, come to Ross, come to me. We will file a report. And this does not just apply in the 3 days that they are at seminar. If you see something on social media, even 6 months from now, you still need to report it. Again, this last screen is just saying we are legally required to report. If you are uncertain about what constitutes reporting or not reporting, go to Ross. We actually can be, we are in trouble for not saying something if we have a suspicion of something. So I would rather us have the conversation and check it out than not have the conversation and find out something is wrong. The next couple things I'm going to touch on will go much quicker than this. The third point is medication. Anyone who is a minor, we need to collect all medication, even over-the-counter medication, from you when you arrive. Prescription medications need to come with a medication verification form from your physician. We will collect everybody's medication and hold it. Anytime you need to take medication, you can go see the medic. The only medications that you may have on your person at all times are emergency medications such as EpiPens, asthma inhaler, diabetes management medication, anything related to treating acne, birth control you can keep. So basically anything that's emergency related or pertains to allergies, you can hold on your person and do not need to turn in. But that applies to you as well because you're minors. The next thing I want to talk about is non-discrimination and sexual harassment. Hopefully it's very clear to all of you that we do not tolerate discrimination in any way, shape, or form, age, race, gender, color, economic status, ethnicity, linguistic heritage, cultural background, disability, medical condition, religion. None of those things in any way, shape, or form is it acceptable. Everyone needs to be treated equally and fairly. Also, quickly want to touch on sexual harassment. Just be careful about what you say and do. First and foremost, because you're a role model, and secondly, because these are young students and their parents are trusting us. Please, I don't expect to hear about anything of this nature. The main thing I just want you to be careful about is what you say, because what you say and how you mean it may not be how they hear it, because they're younger than you, and if they have different life experiences, what you say may be interpreted in a totally different way. If there is anything that you hear, go to Ross or go to me. I also want to quickly touch on social media and the code of conduct. This may not seem like something that's related to risk management, but please be careful about what you post online. Students will add you to Snapchat, to Twitter, to Instagram, to Facebook. Please be careful. Use good judgment. If you want to set different privacy settings so that your students don't see everything that you post, please do so. But bottom line, social media is a function of public relations, so this is not just a reflection on you as an individual, it's also a reflection on HOBY. So in particular, please be mindful of the, I feel like the posts that I see a lot from from younger staff members has to do with how little sleep you get. And if you think about it, someone who doesn't know anything about Hobie, if all they see is, I got no sleep, I'm exhausted, I have a Hobie hangover, what are they going to think about our program? So please just be cautious about that as well. If you have any question, two last things before I leave this topic. I hope that this pertains to none of you. There is no drug use and no tobacco use at any time while we are on campus. If this is a problem for you, please come to me and talk to me about it, but this is not permitted. And also, because we are an educational program, there will be no sportsing at any time. So that is just not, it's not just no jogging, no running. It's also, another thing we see a lot is like gymnastics at the dance. No gymnastics, no like jumping off of staircases. Just say, hey, I want you to be safe. Your parents are trusting us. I want you to be safe.
And that even also applies to like throwing a frisbee around. I know that sounds ridiculous, but
if you have a ball and it's a soft throw and there's no like diving and it has to do with an icebreaker, that's fine. I don't want it to go any further than that, please.
So thank you for listening to that. That's a very long section of training, but that is the absolutely crucial thing that you have to hear. So commit that to memory as well as you possibly can.
We'll discuss it again on Thursday because, again, it's very important. But just please know that the reason that we emphasize these things is because we are, over the course of the weekend, 150 parents are trusting them with their children. So we want to be responsible and respectful of that choice.
Okay, and so now we're going to move into a section talking about our program, and we actually have our director of programs, Alyssa, on the call. But first, I'm going to say a few things, so I'm going to hand it over to her, and she's going to do a really quick rundown of like what's going to happen on each day, like very quick, few-second explanation of each activity, and then on Thursday we'll do a much deeper dive into this. You'll actually get to see demos of the activities, and you'll really get to know what your role will be, so that hopefully when it comes to the time, you have absolutely no question of what you will do, and you'll know exactly where to be and how to do it. But first of all, as part of the program, I'm sure most of you are very well aware of the fact that we do cheers. And so with cheers, we just want to touch really quickly on the fact that cheers are really an absolutely crucial portion of our program. The biggest thing, as I'm going to keep saying this, as I'm sure you've figured out when you're an ambassador, that they serve as a means for breaking down people's walls. A lot of people are very guarded off. High school, as we all know, is very hard. People build up walls to deal with it. And it really breaks people down and puts everyone on a level playing field. And so as part of your role, cheering is huge. And we're going to push this year that we're going to be the loudest junior staff we've had ever. And I'm serious on that because we are going to shake some walls. And so we actually...
Campus safety will be warned.
Like, actually warned. They have things in their time, like, we know that we will be cheering. But just know that coming this week, you will get a cheer book. And when we're on site, we'll actually be assigning cheers to ourselves so that you get a tap on your shoulder from our recognition and enthusiasm coordinators. And the next cheer is yours to lead, and you will know it better than anyone else on this world. And so keep that in mind. And then, so as you already know, the specializations for program, you are assigned to a certain specialization, as Courtney has already touched on this. So I want to bring that back up. And then because you have those expectations for that role, but then just as a group, you are really, as I've said, the backbone of our like operations staff, we won't be able to do all of this without you, and what that happens is that makes our program happen. And so keeping that in mind, I want to hand this over to Alyssa, and if Alyssa will just give us kind of like keys to like, hey, go to the next page on the program guide, we will get through this as quick as we can because we have a lot, and we have a lot of changes to let you know about.
Okay. So on Friday, the first main thing, I guess, is small group introductions. We're trying to get a lot more small group time in this year. We felt like we were lacking that last year, so we're really trying to emphasize that. We will have staff and group theme introductions as well, and as you guys know, the theme is Hidden Figures. So the first main change is that the personal leadership activity is called Build a Leader. The object is to build a leader out of raw materials, and with each material they are assigning a characteristic of a leader to each one of those materials, and so eventually they're going to have a person, and they're going to try to break it down into what's most important in a leader. So that is happening on Friday, and then yeah, you can keep going. So this just kind of like breaks down like what the activity is and stuff to help them. After that, we have toxic waste, which is the group leadership activity, which is also new. So as a team, they are going to have to work together to move the rubber duckies from the radiation zone into the neutralization zone, and they will be doing this blindfolded. So it's going to be really funny, and they're going to have to use a lot of communication in order for it to work. But there are going to be a lot of things thrown at them to make it even harder. So this will definitely be the most challenging and most intensive one. And so it's really important that we have this one down for sure. You can scroll down.
And just so everyone knows, we'll go into much deeper depth. So don't be terrified.
We'll actually show you how all of these work. We'll demo both of these on Thursday night.
Mm-hmm. And then Friday night, we're going to be doing our pep rally. So Ryan Moran will be leading the pep rally. So we're going to have bandanas for all the ambassadors, so that's going to be exciting. It's pretty much the same as last year, nothing new. Saturday, we have another new activity. It's a hunger simulation, and it's to help kind of understand like how food is distributed and how hunger and poverty manifest. So that is also going to be very new and exciting. And then we are doing the Kids Coalition Against Hunger food pack again. So you guys pretty much know what that is. Packing 10,000 meals, and they'll be distributed. So that's Saturday. And then Saturday night we have our dance. And again, no gymnastics because that's bad. After the dance, we're kind of calming it down. So we're going to try another new activity called Story of Self. And this is to help kind of, it's a way to help like across the gap to like find the humanity across each other and kind of like deepen our empathy and understanding of each other as well. So I think that will be a very exciting activity, and I'm very excited to see it. It'll kind of help to like break down people's walls even more. So that's that. Sunday, it's the same activity we had last year for societal leadership. It's Bafa Bafa, and it's to kind of acknowledge the differences in cultural backgrounds, and there will be 4 different communities, and you're going to have to try to determine what rules are within each culture by going to see each different culture, and then you'll kind of like report back and like talk amongst yourself to figure out what the rules are for each society. And yeah, then we have the closing ceremony and peace. I know that was really
awesome.
quick, but I promise we'll go into more detail on Thursday. So.
And when you will know, we promise you, you will know the layout of all the activities, what your specific task is, and how to troubleshoot something if something is not the way that it's supposed to be. We will equip you as best we can. But also, we recognize that this entire seminar is an activity in personal and group leadership in and of itself, in that all of us have different roles to play in our team, and if we all play them and we play them well, then everything will happen amazingly. But there will certainly be instances when a kid does something that you don't expect, and we will help you navigate what you might need to do in those sorts of situations and use your personal leadership and your good judgment. So you will be exercising good examples of leadership skills even while we run this seminar.
So this is for the people watching the recording. The code word is Hugh, as in Hugh O'Brien. So text that to me right now when you hear that. None of you text this to me if you're actually live on the call. But if you are watching the recording, text me the word Hugh so I know you watched this. So I just want to tell you some things to what to bring, what to expect. So you'll be arriving at Albion College between 4 and 5 p.m. on Thursday, so coming really soon. If you have fundraising money, do not send it at this point. Bring it with you to seminar. If you send it to us, we will not have the money by time seminar occurs. And the very first day of seminar, we have to give them almost $12,000. And so every single dollar that we can have from you helps. You really are the backbone of our fundraising. And you guys are really kind of killing it. We're getting all the money in. Everyone's getting close. Everyone's working together. We are really working towards that collective goal. And with that money, we can do great things and impact a lot of change on a lot of students in Michigan. And then super, super, super important, our seminar is 100% nut-free. We have students who will go, and staff who will go into anaphylactic shock and have to be sent to the hospital if there is even a peanut, an almond on site at all, even if you had it in your car.
This means if you received a person in your secret Hobie list whose candy said, my favorite candy is Snickers, my favorite candy is Payday, you may not buy that, you may not bring it. I do not want to send a kid to the hospital. Please don't make me do that.
And so this is a very serious matter, and that's why in the email that I sent you just before this call, I actually was just at a seminar, and someone gave me that amazing 6-page document that says every single snack and piece of candy that is nut-free. So use that when you're shopping or when you're thinking of what to bring for snacks for yourself in your room. You cannot even in your own room have anything with nuts. Just it's one weekend. I know I personally love nuts, but like we can't do it.
We have a student that if she touches, if someone eats peanut butter and then touches the table and she touches it, she'll react. This is why we're being so strict.
Yeah. And then just the emails that I sent you before that has the packing list, really take a look at that. I hope it's really helpful. I've used it in the past to pack. I think it's very helpful. And then my very last point, and then we will move on to questions, is in the past, we've been in town in Midland where there is a Meijer, there is a Walmart. But in Albion, those stores are not close by, and you'd actually have to go to Jackson, which is a little bit of a drive to even get it. So make sure you buy and bring everything that you need for seminar before you come?
We will take your keys for the duration of the weekend, and you will not, once you are on campus, you cannot leave for any reason. So if you forget something, once we take your keys, you're going to have to actually ask someone else to go to Jackson. And the only reason that we will go to Jackson is when we need to get supplies. So please do everything that you can to bring everything that you need. There is a grocery store, so if you, like, on Thursday afternoon, like, realize that you don't have enough candy, you can, or you want more snacks, you can go get that. There is, like, a pizza place, there is a Subway, there is food, people live there, but it is not like Midland. There's not a food court with a mall. So please just be cognizant of, like, double, triple check against the packing list, because once you're there, you can't leave. And unless it's urgent, we won't be able to go out and get something for you.
So that is the end of our information. I want to take this time just to thank all of you. As I said, it's my first year as the director of staff. You've been a great staff. I'm so excited to finally meet all of you and not just have a picture in a yearbook to think of you as a person. I know some of you, but very few. And so I'm so excited to be working with you. And we're going to do really awesome things. We love you. And we're just really so thankful.
Also, please know that we've talked a lot about the things that we've been doing to prepare for this weekend. This is something that a lot of people have worked very, very hard on. But at the end of the day, everything that we've done for the last year means absolutely nothing if we don't have people like you who are helping us actually see it through and create that experience for students. So please, please, please know that we deeply appreciate you and your fundraising prowess. We literally could not do this without you. With that, we will open it up for questions. We have about 6 to 10 minutes until we want to go ahead and switch it over for the next call. So if you have questions, hit us up.
What time are we
Expected
on Thursday.
On Thursday, between 4 and 5 p.m.
All right.
What time will the seminar be ending about?
So on Sunday, it will basically expect to be there until, what time is it?
You should expect, ideally, to be there until about 6:30 on Sunday night. The seminar will end around 4:30, and then the students will check out. After that, we will actually have a staff circle and do a little bit of a debrief about how things went over the course of the weekend. So if you can stay, please do, because it will be the last opportunity to sort of bond as a team and reflect about the experience that we had. Anybody else? Just one thing to note is that we have, as part of the staff structure that we're implementing, we also, you will have seen in the yearbook that we sent, that we are using the colors and the sections that we use for the cheer portion of the pep rally throughout the weekend. For you, basically what that means is that every once in a while there will be things that will be done in a section. The other thing that it means is when you guys are thinking about buying swag, you will already receive a bandana in the color of your swag, of your section. So ideally, the swag that you're purchasing for students is not a bandana, but if it is, it's not a big deal. People that are joining, what did you say?
I'm sorry. Did you say that we finalized the jobs yet?
Yes. we will be sending the job list out later tonight.
Yeah, we will include that in the email that contains the recording of this call.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any questions for us?
Will we go more in depth about like the assignments on Thursday?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
You will know exactly what you are responsible for and who to ask if you have questions about it.
All right.
And if you do not, you can bug both of us until you feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Speak now or forever hold your peace. Until Thursday.
But not really.
For like, until you can send an email or a text. Okay, so I guess to respect everyone's time and so that we can transition over for our call with our junior facilitators, I will wrap this call up now. Once again, thank you all so much. Thank you for taking your Monday night to sit and listen to a bunch of risk management and not very, honestly, fun things to listen to, but incredibly
super important because we need to keep our students safe.
So with that, we will see all of you on Thursday, and we're so excited to see you between 4 and 5 p.m. And
there will be more updates, a cheer book, and those job specializations, as well as a map coming your way within the next 24 hours. So see you and talk to you very soon.